What's good? It's your boy Toothpick. Thanks for tuning into the First String Podcast. Hey, listen up. Today we got us a special guest. We're gonna bring him in here in a little bit. Um, don't forget to like and subscribe to the First String Podcast. Hit the notification button to enable alerts for new content, like right now, like what's going down right now. All right, so listen. Uh, Yesterday was yesterday. Today is a whole new day, right? We are starting to look forward to our Green Bay game coming up this week. We still have 11 more football games for the Washington football team. We will soon be in our stretch run of NFC East division games. So we're not out of it. We are frustrated as a fan base, and we want to see things get better, right? We want to see things happen for us, right? What's good, Mark? I appreciate you stopping through. So yeah, we want to see the team improve. We want to see things get better. So hang in there. We're gonna fight some more. That's what we're gonna do. And let Dallas come back to the pack. That's what might happen. So we're gonna let Dak and the boys come on back to the Washington football team, and we just gonna play catch up like we normally do. And it's gonna be a mad dash to the finish, and it's whoever's race after that. So my guy that I have today, defensive tackle, played with the Washington Redskins, played with the Denver Broncos, and also played with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You guys know him. You love him. We call him Swaggy, Chris Baker. Let's welcome Chris Baker on into this thing.
Hey,
what's happening? What's good, Swag?
Man, Thanks for how you doing, bro?
Man, we're good. Thanks for doing this with us. We appreciate it. Travis Thomas told me to send you a big shout out.
Oh, what up, Trav? That's my guy, man.
Yeah, that's your guy. Yeah, for real. So Swag, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. We know you went to Hampton. Tell us a little bit about how your journey to get to the league.
Oh man, it was a very interesting journey, man. Even my whole football career, how everything started, is kind of wild for me. Because when I was about 10 years old, I hit this major growth spurt, and I went from like 5'8" to damn near 6 feet over a summer.
Oh
wow! I remember when I first started playing basketball, I went down to the AAU Nationals. It was my first year playing basketball. I made it to the Nationals, and when we played in Florida, we went down there. We got our butts whooped. We was whooping up all the teams up north. We beat up all them New York teams, the Gauchos. Then we beat up on them Tim Thomas players, like the Boo Williams boys, like all these AAU teams. We was beating them when I was young, and I played basketball my whole life. And I hit this major growth spurt, so I never played football until high school. When I was younger and I tried to play football, I was always over the weight limit because I told you I hit this major growth spurt.
Right.
And so I was young enough to play on the C team. We had an A, B, and a C team. I was the age group for the C team, which was the youngest guys, but I was over the weight limit for the A team, which were the older guys. So I could never play. So I wound up going to football practice all the time during the summer. And then right before the first game, they make you do weigh-ins. And I would get my heart broken because I would practice all summer and be ready to play.
Yeah.
And then when it was time to play, they would tell me I'm overweight and I couldn't play. So I was like, let me try basketball. So I tried basketball and I just got good at it, man. I don't know what it was. Just something clicked. And I was like a little baby Shaq. I was the man in the post. I could not be stopped, bro.
They ain't wanted in the paint.
They ain't want it, bro. And I was really good at it. And as I got to high school, I was one of the first freshmen to start at my high school, which is pretty impressive because we're a basketball powerhouse.
Okay.
And for me to start as a freshman was very impressive. And so I went to high school and with just basketball on my mind, not thinking anything about football because football always broke my heart.
Right.
So once I got to high school, played basketball all 4 years. And then my junior year, my best friend, Terrence Knighton and John Manning, we wound up just passing in the hallway. And it was like, bro, we about to have spring football. just come out and try it. So I'm like, no, I'm about to go play in this basketball fall league, and I'm not going to worry about it. They're like, nah, man, just look. If you don't like practice, then just say F it. It's done. You don't got to worry about it. But if you do like it, just give it a try and see how it turns out. And I went out there and I tried it, and I had a ball. And I really didn't know how to get in a defensive stance. I didn't really know how to do an offensive tackle stance. I was just athletic and kind of mimic what I saw in the NFL and what I was supposed to do at that position. So I played my junior year, which was my first year playing football. And when I wound up playing against other players who had these big scholarships, because we played against Bloomfield High School, which was a school that Dwight Freeney went to.
Right.
And they had a running back there named Corey Sheets, who wound up going to Purdue. But he was like one of the top players in our state. Then we had ASAP Swap, who played for Weaver High School. He was like the Gatorade State Player of the Year. And when these guys were like sitting there filming to colleges, they were sitting there for themselves, and then they wound up seeing me on their film like, yeah, who's this guy making all these plays?
This guy keeps flashing. He keeps
flashing.
Right.
And so from that point on, I got invited to the Penn State Nike camp, and I showed off for all the colleges there at the little combine, and I had my first offer from the Big Ten schools, and they just started rolling in from there. And next thing you know, I went to Penn State, full scholarship. I was there for 3 years. I got into a little off the field trouble. And then I wound up getting kicked out, and I went to Hampton for a year.
Right.
And I enjoyed my semester at Hampton, and then I left early for the NFL, and then wound up going undrafted. So I was pissed because I felt like I was going to be, anywhere in the top 3 rounds, because if you look at my numbers, my numbers were comparable to every top defensive tackle that got drafted my year.
So hold on. You try to speed past something, okay? So you played for Joe Pa, right?
Right.
What was that like? What was he like?
Oh, it was just like playing for a straight up legend. Joe Paterno is probably the biggest football name that we knew growing up. So especially for me, I'm an up north kid, so being from Connecticut and then having Joe Paterno come to your high school, it was like, oh my God, this is the guy.
Like he walked down the hallways and everybody just moved. They just moved when he coming in.
So I'm gonna tell you, like, what made me feel like a real superstar in high school was every time, these colleges would come and visit you, they would call your name over the loudspeaker. And the day Joe Paterno came to my high school, because I think I was one of the last years he was able to travel out and talk to recruits. So when he came to my high school, it was like the president just came to my high school. They shut the whole high school down. No one could go to the bathroom. No one could walk through the hallways, but except for me. And I got the call over the loudspeaker. I walked down. I see Joe Paterno into our meeting room, and I was just blown away. And you'll be surprised at how sharp he is, even at the age that he was. He could tell you his starting lineup from 1985, and he could tell you like every player on that team. And it was very sharp of him. He was always on his stuff. His football knowledge was always there. By the time I was there, he wasn't really coaching per se. He was just more so the face. But he still knew his football. But the assistant coaches pretty much ran the team, and Joe Pa was the overseer of everything. But it was definitely, a great experience to play for a legend. And when you look at the old Penn State stories and you see all the legends that came before myself, it was definitely a privilege to go to a school like that.
Just to do it. So Penn State, big party school. Somebody asked me to, hey, what's good? Ask Swaggy why Joe Pa kick him out. I'm not gonna get there. I'm not gonna go there with you.
No, bro, that's gonna be a whole nother podcast because
that's a whole nother podcast. Okay, that's man. Round 2. That's round 2. We'll save it for round 2. So you went to Hampton. How was that for you? I know you said you was there for a semester and left early. How was Hampton for you?
Okay, I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. Coming from Penn State, my experience at Hampton was terrible because it was like moving from a mansion and then going into the projects. And if people don't understand what like the life is like at an HBCU, it's completely different from a Penn State, a predominantly white school.
Right.
We had the best of the best facilities. No, our facilities were better than NFL facilities at Penn State. When I got to Hampton, it was like our facilities were like
High
high
school.
school. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like
Yeah.
it was so disappointing because yes, I do I would love to promote, the HBCU experience. It's definitely something that I would recommend, but there has to be changes made. Like the conditions that a lot of these HBCUs are currently in is just not acceptable. Um, and then like a lot of the guys who went to Hampton first, they couldn't relate with what I was talking about coming from Penn State because this is all they knew.
All they know. Yeah.
That's
It's a
all they
grind
knew.
machine. It's a grind
Yeah,
machine.
and it's like I enjoyed being at Hampton, but I really didn't because I was there, and I'm telling you, I just got out of trouble at Penn State, so I couldn't really enjoy myself as far as like going out, really partying and having a good time because I was trying not to get in no trouble. It was like,
Right.
in my mind, after the stuff that I experienced at Penn State, it was like, yo, I really don't want to go to no parties. I don't want to get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I didn't really party and enjoy the black college experience like a normal kid who went to an HBCU for 4 years.
Right.
And then I was only there for a semester. I got there in August, and I left in December.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was definitely tough, because everything was new at Penn State. We like, and just the like the small things as far as registering your classes. When I went to Penn State, I met with my academic advisor. We talked about what classes I need in order to graduate. These are the things that I need to take this semester. Boom, 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 typing on the computer, boom, everything's done. You get to the football building, all the books and stuff that you need for your courses that you sign up for, it's in a little bookcase, all the books that you need for the semester. I get to Hampton, it was like,
oh, you got to go to the bookstore. You got to go to the student union.
I had to go to the bookstore, I had to find my books. I had to go find the teacher to get a signature just to get into their class. I'm like, what is this, yo? Like, took me like a week to register.
So definitely a humbling experience.
It's definitely, man. Anybody that make it out of the HBCU, man, my hat is off to them because the struggles that you have to go through is crazy, man. Like even the living situations, like it's crazy. I felt like the only new thing we had at the school was probably the student center. Everything else was kind of like it still looked like when Martin Luther King and stuff was around. It was like colored only bathrooms. You know what I mean?
Oh Lord.
It was
Not
bad. I like and I love Hampton because they obviously gave me a second chance, but I always have to compare it to where I came from. And when I compare it to Penn State, it was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this. You know what I mean?
Right. So Swag. So now you go undrafted, right? And what is that like? Tell me about that. I mean, I know
that
it's
was
like
the
I got a close
worst.
friend. Yes,
that was the worst feeling, yo.
3
because again, I'm telling you, I thought I was going to be, drafted within the top 3 rounds.
Right.
And like even on all the mock drafts, there were mock drafts that had me going in the first round, second round, third round. So I'm looking at this stuff the whole time while I'm competing and training for the draft. Like, hey, I know I'm going to get drafted somewhere. So I go home. And my family, I have a big family. I'm pretty popular here in Connecticut. So my family had a big party at the house. I mean, they invited everybody. And I was so excited, like, hey, I'm definitely going to be drafted. I'm happy everybody get to come here and watch me on this special day. And then day after day went by, round after round went by, and no one called. And it was like, I remember like walking outside of my party at my house and just walking down the street and my dad just crying like, what did I just do? Like I just left school earlier, didn't graduate. Am I going to even get a shot now to even make it to the league? But as soon as the draft was over, I had 3 phone calls. I think it was from Pittsburgh. I talked with Mike Tomlin, the Carolina Panthers, and then Denver. Denver offered me the most money. They offered me like a $20,000 signing bonus. So I was like, hey, broke college student, I'm going with where the money at. And then Denver didn't have like a huge D-line presence. So it wasn't like I was going to a place like Pittsburgh where they had big Casey Hampton.
Yeah.
And he was solidified there. When I went to Denver, it was Ron Fields who was starting those tackles. So I'm like, hey, I don't really know none of these guys on this roster, so maybe I have a chance to compete. and I'll just pray for the best. Because I know if I get a shot, I'll shine. So long story short, I go to Denver, and I showed out. Like my first practice there, it was a little bit difficult because it's like an adjustment period. You go from being the best person on your team, the best person around, to just being a guy. And this is my first time being fourth team on a depth chart. I'm like, bro, how am I gonna make this team and I'm all the way at the bottom of the depth chart. But I had really good veterans, like Brian Dawkins and Elvis Dumerville, Champ Bailey.
Dumerville, yeah. You
And,
got to play with Champ.
Oh yeah, man! My first time in the locker room, bro. My locker was right across from Champ Bailey and Brian Dawkins, bro. I was like, oh my god, y'all, these are dudes I used to use on Madden, like Champ Bailey got 98 speed, Brian Dawkins got 97 hit power. Like, these are my guys.
These are the dudes, right?
You know what I mean? But when I got there, it was definitely a humbling experience. Being at the bottom of the depth chart and just having to work myself up the depth chart each and every week. And once we started camp, when we put the pads on, man, it was like night and day for me. I went out there and just showed out. And by the second week, they already had me on the second team. I was like second team big nickel, first team goal line, second team base, second team nickel. So I was like, man, if they just give me a shot, I'll be okay. And I didn't really understand how the NFL worked because I had a great preseason. I made the team, and as an undrafted guy, like the fourth game is like where all the undrafted people are going to play from start to finish.
Yeah.
So I had my mind prepared to play that whole game. And the second quarter, they took me out of the last game where all the undrafted and young guys play. And I'm standing on the sideline with the vets with my hat on. I'm like, oh, I must have made the team. So it was definitely a humbling experience because you're always thinking, yo, are they going to cut me?
Are they going to cut me?
So many guys coming and going, every single day. It's like somebody getting cut, somebody's coming and replacing that guy. So you just never know when that time is going to come. But I wound up making a team, and I was active all year. Only playing in one game against Pittsburgh, and it was kind of mentally, it was like, well, I'm making money, so I'm not really pissed because I'm on the active squad, but I want to play.
I want to play.
So I wound up not ever playing. Really, I played one game in Denver, and I probably played like 10 snaps, but I couldn't understand why they wasn't letting me play. And then that next year, I got cut during camp because I let the mentality of being an undrafted guy really get to me. My second year, because after my first year and I did good and made the team, our coaches had a meeting, you do your year-end meetings. They were like, Baker, we want you to come in next year and compete for the starting role. We know you're a good player. You just got to get more experience, and we feel like you'll be our guy next year, Then the next year comes, we bring in Jamal Williams from San Diego, and our defensive line coach was Wayne Nully, rest in peace. He just died recently. He brings in Jamal. Now, Jamal Williams was like one of the best nose tackles out of San Diego. He was probably one of the best nose tackles, period. And our coach used to make me watch his film. So when they brought him in as a starting defensive tackle, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely not playing because we had Jamal and the guy who started in front of me. And then they had.
And then you just brought this guy in.
With a depth chart. So mentally, I was like, man, these coaches BSing me, man. I don't want to be here. And then I started, just going through the motion at practice, not really being a professional. I was in my feelings, but I didn't really know how to handle that. There was no one to like teach me how to handle my emotions or how to channel my feelings and just go out there and play ball. And you're going to get your shot. When you get your shot, you take advantage of it. I'm like, hey, I'm good right now. I need to play. And if y'all ain't gonna play me, the hell with y'all. There's 31 other teams that are gonna let me play. And so they wound up cutting me. And then I felt like I hit rock bottom because I was out of the league. I didn't know, it wasn't like I could sign up and go get another job, like my job was football. I didn't graduate from college. So I'm like, what am I about to do? I'm like 22 years old, 23. I done ran through all the money that I made in this first year. Like, what am I supposed to do? So I wound up moving back home, And at this time, bro, I was like rock bottom. I was down to like my last $5,000, bro. So I was like just making it through. And when I really hit rock bottom, I wound up playing for this team called the Hartford Colonials. I think it was like a CFL team, or I don't even know what league it was called, but it was a Connecticut football team, semi-pro type of thing. And I was just like, bro, like, what am I doing here? Like, I was just in the NFL.
I was just in the NFL. I was just in the league.
Right. Like, these guys here, like, some of them, like, you can just watch them, like, bro, like, these guys can't play in the NFL. Like, I just got out of the NFL. Like, I should not be here. But, you know, I was uncomfortable there, or practicing out of a motel. It just didn't feel right for me. And happily, they wound up releasing me. But then I felt like if they released me, I'm like, is this going to look good for me to get back to the NFL? Like, I just got released by a semi-pro team. Like, what the hell is about to happen?
Right.
So they wound up releasing me. And wound up turning out to be a good thing. I started going to church, and I just kept praying. I was like, Lord, please just give me an opportunity to get back into the league. And I wound up going to Bible study one night. I met this Prophet Coleman, and he started praying for me, and he told me whatever I wanted for my birthday, God was going to honor it. He said, just go home tonight and pray about it, and whatever you pray about, God is going to answer your prayers. So I said, okay, bet. I go home, I say, Lord, I don't want anything for my birthday. I don't want any presents. I don't want no money. All I want is to get back into the league. Yo, I swear, like 2 days later, Miami Dolphins called me. They signed me to the practice squad.
Right.
I was like, oh, thank you, Lord. But then I was still pissed. I was happy that I was back in the league, but I was on practice squad. I'm like, bro, practice squad don't make as much as active, but, you know, I'm still happy to get something. Something's better than nothing, you know? And so I just continued to grind. I didn't let, you know, that get in the way. I just kept grinding. And next thing you know, a few weeks after being on practice squad, Pete Carroll calls my phone, and I'm in my apartment, knocked out. Phone go to voicemail. I'm like, I wake up, I got all these voicemails. I got Miami calling me. I have my agent calling me. Pete Carroll left me a voicemail, and they had just lost like 2 or 3 of their defensive tackles in one game. So they was going to call me up from the practice squad, activate me, and I was going to be in Seattle. But Miami was like, nah, we like this kid, so we're going to keep him. Pete Carroll offered me like $75,000 as a signing bonus as a practice squad guy.
What year was this? What year was this?
2010.
That's 2 years before they went to the Super Bowl?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they gave me a $75,000 bonus, a signing bonus, because that's what Pete Carroll offered me, and then Miami matched it. So I wound up staying there for the rest of the year. I played in one game again against the Raiders, but I was happy I got my $75,000 bonus, and I got my game checks for the rest of the season. So that was, you know, pretty cool. But at the end of the day, I still haven't played.
You still haven't played
2 years, and I haven't played more than 2 games. You know, so I'm like, is this what my NFL? Am I gonna be a scrub? I'm gonna always be a bench guy. Like what is this? Because I know when I get my opportunity to play in the preseason, I do well.
Right.
So why is it that I can't, you know, stick? So I went to Miami. I was there for the rest of that year. Then the lockout happened, and when the lockout happened, I wound up having a knee injury. But at this time, we couldn't even communicate with our team doctors, technically, because of the lockout. You know what I mean? So I called my agent. I'm like, bro, I've been working out, but something's going on with my knee. It was my left knee. I'm like, yo, something's not right. I'm training, and I can't push off the way I normally am accustomed to doing it. So I wound up calling him, and he wound up getting in touch with the doctors, and Dr. Andrews did my first surgery on my knee. He did my scope surgery.
Right.
So he does my scope surgery, and me and Jake Long, we had surgery on the same day. And he was our starting left tackle at the time. So I got the surgery. I'm on recovery. I'm headed back to preseason. Well, it's actually during what do you call it? OTAs.
OTAs, yes, sir.
I'm doing all the rehab, doing all the stuff that they told me to do. I'm there early, and this is what broke me down. Jeff Ireland was our GM at the time, I believe. So he called me in his office, and he's like, Bake, you've been doing a good job. I want you to continue to working hard at your rehab and continue to get your weight down. And when the season comes around, you're going to be ready to compete and earn a spot on this team. So I'm like, perfect. Bet the GM called me. This is great. I called my mom, like, yo, the GM called me in his office. He told me they've been watching me do the rehab and just continue to work hard and da-da-da. So I go back to work the next day. Same thing as usual. I go into, I do the practice. I do all I had to do in the rehab and with the ropes and on the side and the bikes and all that stuff. I'm sitting in the recovery tub, and here comes the clipboard man. He's like, Bake, come with me. Get out the tub and come with me. We got to go upstairs. And I'm like,
this is not the dude you want to see.
I'm like, but I didn't know because I'm like, I just talked to the GM yesterday. Like, there's no way they could be cutting me. So I get out the tub, I go upstairs. So I'm like really in shock. Like, what is he about to talk to me about? And not even Jeff Ireland didn't show up, but he sent some other guy. I forgot who this guy was. It was another guy within the organization. And they cut me. And I cried so hard. I'm like, bro, like y'all just told me
that I'm making this team.
I'm about to compete for a spot, and y'all cut me the next day. Like, what was the point of calling me into the office? You know what I mean? So then I'm staying in my apartment in Miami. I'm really just trying to figure it out because I'm like, bro, I'm not going home again. I don't want to do that again. But I have to figure out,
what the next move.
What the next move is. So again, I go to church.
Yep.
And I go to church. I went to what's the name of the church down in Miami? Oh, I can't think of it. Whatever. I went to church.
Right.
And my agent calls me. No, actually, the night before I went to church, Washington was playing a preseason game. When they were playing that preseason game, Jarvis Jenkins, who was their second-round draft pick from Clemson, got hurt in the Baltimore game. So as soon as that happened, yo, Tony, I'm watching the preseason. A D lineman for Washington just got hurt. Like, see if Washington need me to come through. So I said a prayer that night. I wound up going to church on Sunday. While I'm in church, my agent called me like, yo, where you at? I'm like, yo, I'm at church. So he's like, Washington wants to bring you in for a workout. I'm like, what? Now, mind you, I'm coming off surgery off my knee. So I've still been rehabbing, but I haven't ran. Like, I haven't been on turf to run on my knee because it just wasn't that part of my progression yet. And so my first workout on grass was when I worked out for the Redskins. And they had Coach Hazlitt and Coach Bernie, Coach Shanahan, Bruce Allen, all these guys at my workout. And I just gutted it through. I was like, bro, as tired as I am, I'm not going to let these coaches see that I'm tired. I'm just going to gut it through, and hopefully I just get on the team.
Hold on, Bake. I got to ask you a question real fast, man. So when they bring you in for a workout, was it just you? Was it 3 other guys, 4 other guys? What is it?
At
what
this
is it
time,
like?
it was just for my workout. It was just me.
Just you. Okay.
Normally, just from my experience, when they bring in guys, they normally bring in 2 or 3, 4 guys at that position, or maybe a couple of guys at another position. But for whatever reason, this day was just me. So it was like everybody just watching me, and I'm like, oh God, I can't mess up. I got to do good. I can't show these kids I'm tired. No matter how tired I may be, I just got to fight through.
Right.
So Coach Bernie was, putting me through these drills, and he was trying to kill me. And I think they wanted to break me down to see how I would respond. And I think Coach Hazlitt was like, Bernie, all right, that's enough. The guy can move. He's athletic. Let's give him a shot. So they wound up signing me to the practice squad in Washington. And now I'm back in the league, and I'm happy. But I'm on practice squad. So
Practice squad again, right.
So this is Coach Shanahan night. And Coach Shanahan was probably one of the best coaches that I've ever played for. But he had his ways. You know what I mean? His way was his way, and it's either you get with his way or you go the highway. So Coach Bernie, he was like a Shanahan disciple because he came from when he was in Denver.
Yep.
And same with like Bobby, who's coaching with Kyle and Shanahan. He's the running back coach up there. but they're all Shanahan guys. So, me, I'm a big personality. I like to,
Yeah.
be like life of the party. I like to be seen. I like to crack jokes and da da da. And sometimes they rub coaches the wrong way. I'm like, bro, I'm serious about my job, but I like to have fun. Like, stop getting on me about dancing at practice. Like, this is what I do to get in my groove. You know what
This
I
is how
mean?
you got the name Big Swaggy.
Exactly. So, long story short, I was grinding all year, and being a person who's never played in the league, I didn't really understand what it was like for veterans to have to practice on a Wednesday or Thursday after playing in a game on Sunday. So I was going out there like knocking these dudes' heads in, and they're like, bro, like chill out, man. We just played in a game, like yo, like you're not about to play this week, chill. I'm like, bro, listen, I'm trying to get active. I'm about to go out here and kick y'all ass every time I get a chance. And so every week I just kept trying to kick butt, kick balls, grinding with Chris Chester and going in against Corey Lichtensteiger, and Jamal Brown. Like we had a decent offensive line. I was competing and doing good against these guys. So I'm like, Coach Shanahan, when are you going to allow me to play? Like what else do I have to show you in order to play? So I would go to Shanahan every week. Like, am I going to get active this week? I'm going to get active this week. It got to the point where my defensive line, Coach Bernie was like, babe, Shanahan's a nice guy, but he ain't that nice. He watches every bit of film. There's nothing that you've done that he has not seen. When he's ready to activate you, he'll ready to
activate you.
Stay out of his office before you piss him off. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to say anything to him ever again. I'm not going to say anything to him. I'm just going to practice and let him happen. New England week comes up. They call me on Monday. No, it was it Monday? Monday or Tuesday. I don't know. I forgot. It was Monday or Tuesday. They signed me to the active squad. Super excited.
Right.
Call home like, Mom, it happened. I'm finally activated. We about to play the Patriots, and I'm from Connecticut.
So and you're from Connecticut, right?
I'm super hyped. I'm like, yo, this is about to go down. Get my first action against Tom Brady. So this was before RG3 had got. No, we haven't even drafted RG3 yet, but we had the bubble. We never had a bubble.
Right.
So when it rained, we had to go to the gym down the street. I think it was like a 24-hour fitness or something. So we go into this gym. All the guys are, playing basketball. And they're dunking and doing, throwing some hoops around and stuff. So I'm like, oh, man, it's my first day active. We got walk through practice. I can't get hurt and walk through. But, me being an athlete, I'm like, yo, let me show these guys I can dunk too. So it was raining outside. I come in, I wipe my shoes off, just being young and dumb. I see these dudes dunking. I'm like, bro, I can dunk too. Throw me an oop. So I think it was Brandon Banks. He threw me an alley-oop. I go to jump, and I slip. So I never got off the ground, but when I jumped, I tore my quad, bro. And
my God.
I was like, bro, this is like, my NFL career is over. Like, I'm done. I finally got activated, and I tore my quad the next day. I'm like, bro, like, I got the worst luck in the NFL ever. And then I was nervous because being an undrafted guy and then getting hurt doing something non-football, I'm like, yo, they really going to cut me and then not pay me anything because I did this not playing football. But I wound up just telling them, hey, I hurt myself warming up for practice, and they really didn't have it on film of what really happened. So I kind of got through it like that. They knew, but they didn't know. They couldn't prove it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I wind up having another surgery, going through the whole thing again. I'm like, all right, I got to find out a way. This is year 4 now. So I'm in my 4th year in the league. I had the surgery. Me and Jarvis Jenkins, the guy who I came to replace, we wound up rehabbing at the same time because I got hurt too. So we wound up rehabbing and just working our asses off like all offseason. I mean, I worked. I wound up meeting this new trainer, Carl McKinnon out of Ashburn, Virginia. And, we just did so many pool workouts, 100 reps like this, 100 reps at that, manual squats. And I just like built my whole body back up. And that next off season was like, all right, bet. This is my first preseason since my rookie year that I've actually was able to participate in without being hurt or transitioning from team to team. So the competition for me that year was with me and Chris Neal, because he was our starting. Well, he wasn't starting. He was the second string behind Barry Cofield. We drafted him out of West Virginia. So I get there, me and him are in competition, and I'm killing it. I really didn't care who my competition was. I was like, bro, it's my time to shine. There's no way I'm not going. I never felt like I was a scrub and couldn't make a team. I just needed an opportunity to play.
Right.
And so that year I was Barry Cofield's backup. Chris Neal wound up tearing his ACL during camp. And then that really just solidified my position as the backup nose tackle going into camp. Now it's no longer a question of we're going to keep Chris Baker or we're going to keep Chris Neal, because Chris Neal was hurt.
Chris Neal was hurt, right?
But I was balling though, so it was like even if he was healthy, I didn't feel at that time that he was beating me in the competition. I thought I was here and he was here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And him being hurt wound up, I feel like, helping him in a sense, because they didn't cut him outright instead of just cutting him. They had to keep him around all year, because if it was just a competition, if it was going to cut me or cut him, I felt like I won that competition at that time. So that year was my first year being a backup and actually getting playing time, and I was backing up Barry Cofield. And from then on, it's just been a story, man. It's just every time I got a chance to play,
more and more
took advantage of it, kept taking advantage of it. And when everything, like, as soon as they finally, like, gave me an opportunity to play, it was like, oh, this guy Baker's pretty good. I'm like, bro, I told y'all asses I was nice from the
day
first
one.
day I got here. Put me in the game. You know what I mean? So even the year that I wound up winning the MVP of the defense, I was still getting treated as the undrafted Chris Baker. I'm like, bro, like, I'm like one of y'all nicest linemen. Like, why y'all acting like I'm some scrub? So
right.
I recruit my best friend to come here, Big Pot Roast.
Oh, okay. That was you. That was you.
So
okay.
Bro, he came out. I got married. I was getting married that weekend during the free agency, and his free agency it wasn't going as planned. So I'm like, bro, I got my boy Terrence Knighton from Denver. He said he want to come play with me. Let's bring him in. And like that was, a show of love for me, because I didn't even know where this was about to be my first year starting.
Right.
I was supposed to be the starting nose that year.
Right.
But I knew I didn't want to play nose. I wanted to play end, because I was better at end than I was at nose. I felt like I could use my athleticism more. I could stunt and move a lot more than just sticking at nose. So I bring Terrence in. I'm like, all right, bet. We got Terrence here. We got Hatcher on the other side, and then I could start at left end. To my surprise, they signed Stephen Pyatt. I'm like, what the hell is this? So now they got me at second team everything. I'm like, bro, this is wild, Joe. I brought my best friend here to play with me, not play.
He takes my spot, right?
Right. I'm like, I didn't come here for me to be his backup. I wanted to play next to my boy. So that whole offseason was crazy, bro, because they paid Stephen Pyatt a lot of money. But I'm like, bro, I don't care how much they pay him. He can't fuck with me.
He was some cut. He was some cut.
He can't, and like, he's not on my level. So that whole offseason, they kept battling between me and him. They kept making it a competition. I'm like, bro, it's not a competition. Like, this dude don't want to play football, bro. Like, and we can see it as guys on the team. You know what I mean? Like, he's a great guy, great person, great teammate. But when it came to being a dog,
right,
just playing football, I was like, bro, if y'all got to make a decision between me and him, and y'all picking him, like, there's something wrong with y'all, not me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that year, going into camp, every game was a pretty much like competition between me and Pyatt.
All right.
They would start him, then I would, and we would rotate series all throughout the preseason. My numbers versus his numbers,
way better. Yeah.
But we had a first year we had a first time defensive line coach. What the hell was his name?
Oh man, you getting me to going back right now. Hold on. Coach
Akey?
Yes.
Yeah, him. I hated him because he wasn't like a person that was truthful with you. I was like, bro, if we got a competition and we all can see that I'm clearly winning this competition, why you keep telling me we co-starters? Like, if we were out there tunnel tomorrow, we're not coming out there as co-starters. It's gonna read Stephen Pyre starting left defensive end. I'm like, bro, if it's a competition, I have beat this man. So I went into the year pissed because they for no reason they had this man starting in front of me. Obviously they paid him, so I guess he had to play.
Yeah.
So the week 3, I go to Gruden. I'm like, bro, you said that you was gonna put the best 11 on this football field at all times. Why am I not one of the best 11 on this defense? Like, there's no way Stephen Pyre is better than me. Like, why am I not starting? He's like, you're not starting? I'm like, bro, you're the fucking head coach. What do you mean?
How do you not know this?
Yeah, I'm like, how you not know I'm not starting? He's like, oh, I didn't know you weren't starting. I'm like, bro, like, that can't be. So he was like, you know what? You start this week. I was like, bet. We played the Eagles, had my first 2-sack game, and then the whole season just took off and never looked back.
Let's talk about this Eagles game, okay? Because I remember an Eagles game where somebody got kicked out for bad behavior.
It should have just been Peters, not me.
What happened? What happened there?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you. In that game, I was pissed because we wound up losing, and I was kicking Kelsey's ass, bro. Like, go back and watch that film, bro.
That's one of my favorite games because of the fight.
Bro, I was having a game that, like, it was like a coming out party. I was really kicking Kelsey's butt, bro. So, Nick Foles throws an interception to Breland.
Yes.
And so, Breland gets back up. He runs the ball. I fell down on the play because I almost got the sack. So, I fell down. I look back. I see he threw a pick. And I see Breland running my way. So, I'm like, oh, John, it's time for me to get a block. I didn't look around and be like, yo, let me find the quarterback and blow him up. He was just the closest man to me.
Get a block. Different color.
So he started running towards the ball. Breland gets tackled, but we don't know if he's going to break through that tackle or not. So I took like 2 or 3 steps, and it just happened to be Nick Foles. I threw my shoulder. Boom! And caught him off guard. So that's why the hit looked so much worse than what it really was. Like, I could have really annihilated this dude, but I really didn't, I just gave him
a shoulder. Just gave him a shoulder.
Just gave him a little shoulder. But, the fact that he wasn't expecting it, didn't see it, he, fell all crazy, and then he stayed down for 30 minutes, and then he wasn't even hurt.
Right.
You know what I mean? He wound up finishing the whole game. And then Jason Peters, so as we celebrating, I'm like, okay, I just hit the quarterback. Oh, then that is the quarterback. So I'm like, damn, ain't nobody going to do nothing? Then out of my peripheral, I see Jason Peters making a V-line for me. And I'm like, oh, shit. It's time to fight. I can't even run away from this one.
So you knew it was going down.
I see he was running because I had just chest bumped with Jarvis, I think, and I'm talking like, yeah, we got the intercept. I just knocked him out. And then out of my peripheral, I just see a big shadow just coming. I'm like, oh, shit. It's time to fight. And we just got to wrestling. But it was like I didn't go into that situation like trying to fight. I had to defend myself.
Right,
so
right.
They kicked me out the game. I'm like, what are you kicking me out for? I made a block and someone attacked me. Like, what am I supposed to do?
You already knew what the deal was. That's Jason Peters. You're playing in Philly. You only swaggy at this point in time. So you knew you was gone.
No, you know what? I wasn't even swaggy at that point, man. I was still Chris Baker, man. The swaggy name wasn't even born yet. You know what I mean?
Still one of my favorite moments with you. Just still one of my favorite moments. Anytime you fight a Philadelphia Eagle, I'm down for it. I'm down for the cause, man.
It was one of the best things ever because after that fight, the whole world knew who I was because they just kept playing over and over on every single national sports network show. Everybody kept talking about this hit, Chris Baker, Nick Foles, and then it came out that the hit was legal, and I'm like, so I got kicked out of the game for no reason? Like, what is this?
So hold on. So my question is, now that you get kicked out the game, you're done for the rest of the game. Y'all were losing. Did any of the coaches give you any flack for that?
Nah, because they couldn't understand. They couldn't understand why I got ejected.
All right.
I wasn't the initiator of the fight, and the block was legal.
Right.
So everybody's like super confused. Like, what did he do? Like, Jason Peters came to him. He didn't come to Jason Peters.
And Peters got to stay in the game, I believe.
No, he got kicked out too. We both got kicked out.
Okay. All right. So now, Swag, let's take it to today. All right. Because I want to end on that fight because that just show how competitive you are real fast, right? So let's look at this Washington football team right now and look at their defensive line. What areas can they improve on? As a full unit, don't give me the individuals yet. Just give me the full unit. Where could they improve on?
You talking about the defensive line or the defense?
The defensive line, just your home, the defensive line.
Yeah, I just feel like we just have to get on the same page. I feel like a lot of our guys, they're looking around at all the preseason hype and, hey, Chase is supposed to be defensive player of the year. Sweat is supposed to have double-digit sacks, and Payne and Allen, they're supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z, and everyone is sack hungry. And instead of playing on the same page where the guys in the middle, have inside pocket collapse, and then the guys on the edge really set the edge and come around there and make strip sacks, that's not happening. What's happening is Chase or Sweat is coming around that edge, trying to get a sack, running behind the quarterback, and then Payne or Allen or Ioannidis make a good inside move, inside pocket collapse, and then that quarterback has a lane to step up because our defensive ends have now ran behind the quarterback, which opens up lanes for him to step up and extend plays. And I think that's what's been happening a lot this year. We're just not on the same page because everyone is so, I got to get a sack. I got to be the man and get the sack for his fumble. But when you look at it, it's like we're getting really good interior pressure.
Yes.
But sacks come in a split second. So if someone is out of their rush lane, that gives that quarterback a place to step up. And a lot of times you'll see our tackles make good moves on the inside and be ready for a great sack, but then that quarterback could step up where that defensive end has now ran behind or stepped up or is not in their rush lane, and now no one's getting a sack. They're able to throw the ball downfield and 400-500 yards we're giving up every week. And it's like, how is this possible when we got four first rounders on the line?
4 first rounders on the line, and then another undrafted guy. A Temple guy.
Matt Ioannidis.
Yeah, who I always say Matt Ioannidis should be flagged every time he get a sack because he hits quarterbacks with the offensive lineman. Because the dude is so strong, man. The dude is just.
He reminds me of Justin Smith, who used to play for the 49ers.
Just terribly strong.
If you look at the way he plays and the way Justin played, they're like picture perfect. That's why Aldon Smith was so great, because Justin had that technique where he could hold that, he could do that club rip and hold that offensive guard, and that defensive end will wrap around him and come in free. Aldon Sack had 13 sacks a year just off of that text move.
Right. So you're saying basically that the defensive linemen are not playing in sync with each other. They're not covering each other's back. They're not covering each other's back.
Right. And that's all D-line play is having your brother's back. I knew when I played, I got a bunch of my sacks off of just covering freaking Ryan Kerrigan. I said, you know what, Ryan? You're our best pass rusher. Do your thing. I'll make you right. And a lot of times when I got my sacks, Ryan will be doing his thing, and I could see it on my peripheral. I just had a good feeling for it. I could see he made an inside move. The next thing you know, I'll come back out and wrap around because he done forced the quarterback to step up. When that quarterback step up and step out, I'm right there for him. I replaced him. We all have rush lanes. So as long as you're in your lane, the quarterback is going to come to you.
So communication is a big thing, Swagger. You're a big personality. Fred Smoot, big personality, right? So the back end has to talk, and what you're telling me now is this front line, they have to talk. So where is the big personality? Because we hear that Allen is all business. You hear Chase is, the big goofball, and Deron Payne is here to do what he does. So who is the communicator there, and why is the communication being missed?
I'm not sure, and that's one thing that I always talked about was we had veteran leadership on our team, and this young defensive line, there is no veteran leader. They're all learning as they go, and they're all in their first, second, third year. Like as good as Chase is, he's only in the second year.
First year with fans.
You know what I mean? And their oldest guy on the line is probably Matt Ioannidis. He's in year 6?
Yep.
And he's not even the highest paid at the position on this team. So, like, who they gonna listen to?
True.
It's like when I got there, I had guys that I had to listen to. I had to listen to Barry Kofa. I had to listen to Stephen Bowen, Kedrick Ghostin. These guys were proven vets who knew how to get it done. And if I was doing something wrong, they had the comfortability to say, hey, Bake, what the hell are you doing? This not how we do it. You either do it this way or we can't trust you. Let alone the coaches. But us as players got to trust you because they're going to ask us who we feel comfortable playing with.
Yeah, they do.
And I don't want to put myself on the edge and say, hey, yo, I want Bake to play if he out here BSing in practice and not getting it done the right way. So I just had to get used to doing stuff the right way all the time, over and over and over, until it just became a habit. And that's when you become a true professional, when you do things the right way and then you start having success. And now you can pass that knowledge down to other guys. But these guys are all learning as they go because they don't have a Stephen Bowen or a Barry Cofield or an older vet who's making more money to really check them or tell them what to do or how to do it the right way. They're learning on their own.
Okay. I get it.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, so before I got one more question for you. I'm going to take you back down to Tampa, and I'm going to bring you back to Washington again, okay? So you actually leave here in free agency. You go down to Tampa. So now you have played with Washington for a good little while. Now you're in Tampa, you and Deshaun. What was that like? What was the difference in the two organizations is what I really want to ask you right there.
I'm not sure, bro. I hated my time in Tampa, because I felt like, especially at the time, I should have never left Washington.
Right.
So even though I went to Tampa, I was pissed. And I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened in my free agency because I'm 29 years old, going into free agency. I got low mileage, so I'm not like a 29-year-old, 7-8-year vet who's played every year. I've only played literally like 2 or 3 years.
Right.
So when I hit free agency at 29, I'm like, bet, shoot, I'm young. I don't got no mileage on me. I should be getting the bag. And then the free agency came. I heard that, Washington spoke bad about me to all these teams. And Tampa wound up being like my only offer. So and Washington never even offered me.
Yeah.
I would have took less money on a 1-year deal to stay in Washington rather than go for the money that I went in Tampa.
Because of the comfortability and who you was
I
playing
knew
with.
the area. I loved the fans. The fans love me. I just bought my house, just had my first kid. I'm like, bro, this is home. You know what I mean? Like, I was a community guy. I didn't get in trouble. I'm like, I checked all the boxes. Like, how am I not someone on? And we had nobody in our D line.
Yeah.
Like, the only guy we had coming in that year was Matt Ioannidis. I'm like, bro, they definitely got to sign me back. We ain't got nobody on this defensive line.
I was disappointed. I can tell you that right now.
It was crazy. Bro. And like to this day, I still can't put it into words. I'm like, bro, I just want MVP of this defense. And now I'm not good enough for y'all to sign me back.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I don't. Organizations are organizations. There's dysfunction in every place. You know what I mean? So I didn't like my time in Tampa. Obviously, we were losing too, so that didn't help anything. But they had me playing nose tackle, and I did everything in my power in Washington not to play nose tackle. I was good at defensive end,
right,
and I was good at pass rushing. And I get to Tampa, I'm like, oh, I'll get the rush with Gerald McCoy. And
that's what I was excited about.
And they don't even put me in on nickel. I'm like, bro, I just came off a 7-sack season, 6-sack season, and I don't play nickel? Yeah, they had me as a first down nose. I'm like, bro, I didn't come here for this. I came here to rush the passer. But that didn't work. I probably had my career low in season snaps per game going to Tampa as a prize free agent. And I'm like, this ain't working. And then I just never got healthy enough to really get back to the swaggy that I knew. And I just, my football career was over after that.
So, I mean, I was excited to see you work with Gerald McCoy. How was Gerald?
He's a great professional. He's one of those guys that, he's always going to put in the extra work and go the extra mile to make sure that he's ready to play at a high level. I felt like I was more of a personal person. Mm-hmm. Like when I came in free agency, I didn't really hear from him. And I felt like if it was the other way around, if he came to Washington or if we had a prize free agent when he came to Washington, I made it my point to, hey, I'm Chris Baker. This is my number. If you need anything, this is where you go eat. This is where you go, do this, that, and the third. I didn't get that welcome from Gerald. It was almost like I was like oh well, he here. Let me see what he gonna do type joint. Like, but we never had that bond that I thought I would get like I had in Washington, because I was the guy that kind of like when Stephen Bowen and Barry Kofa left, I kind of like took over as like the leader of our defensive line. And
Okay.
so when it came to doing things together, I was the one who always orchestrated. I had Thursday night dinners at my house because I'm a cook, so I love to cook for people. So they would come over and eat, and we'll watch the games, or we'll go somewhere and have dinner, and we'll play credit card roulette at the end of dinner. But it will be something great for our D line. Every week, our D line did something together, and I planned it. It was either at my house or we went out somewhere. So most of the younger guys at the time, they went out and we hung out. When I got to Tampa, a lot of the guys were older, married with kids, so they didn't really hang out as much.
Okay.
And Gerald got a big family, so I understand why he don't go out, and he is Gerald McCoy, but we just never did anything together as a defensive line, and I felt like the warming spirit as far as, yo, come through, come pull up, like that wasn't a part of their identity in Tampa. They still was a bunch of young guys trying to find a way, but they've been losing his whole career. So it's just like, even though he's been good, the team sucked. They always lost, even though he made the Pro Bowls. So, but it was a humbling experience. I didn't like it at all in Tampa. The whole time I'm like, bro, I should have never left. And I would just watch the game from afar and, just keep up with the guys, because I knew so many guys on the Washington team.
Right.
But, like for real, I just hung out with D-Jack all the time. Me and D-Jack don't live far from each other. Me and him became great friends in Tampa because I ain't know nobody else. I wasn't hanging with.
That's your boy, right? That's y'all spent time together, right?
Yeah, that's my dog.
Yeah, so we did see you on Hard Knocks, and one of the things you was doing on Hard Knocks was harassing the kicker. We love that, you know what I mean?
Why left?
Right. So we like that. So today, Washington finally let go of I'm gonna use a term that the fans have given this dude for a little bit. We called him Stanky Leg Hopkins. Right?
Or that's my guy, yo. I love
or Sugarfoots. Or Sugarfoots, right?
I love Hop.
So that's where I'm going with you. So we saw you harass the kicker. Did you do that to Hop?
Oh, every day. Every day.
You put that pressure on.
Every time he tried to kick, I'm wide left. I got 100. He gonna miss. Who gonna bet? You're like, but that's how we got in the kicker's head. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I try my best every time the kickers get up there to freaking kick to get in their head and tell them that they're going to miss in practice. Then when I get in the games, I'm like their biggest supporter. Like, hey, bro, we got this. You got this. You made this joint in practice, so the game should be easy. You know what I mean?
Right,
but in practice, I'm an asshole. I'm like, coach had to like tell me to back away from the kicker because I would like take a knee like 3 feet away from him because it's not like he got to move to the left to the right. He just stepping forward and kick it. So I would just stand right there like, hey, you gonna miss this shit? Hey, why left? I know you about to miss it. Why right?
So you give him the business because you love him and you want to compete and you want to mess with him because you're not rushing the kicker. There's no rushing on the kicker. It's a nice block and whatever, but no rushing on him. So you messing with him.
Well, there is a little bit of rushing, but like if there's just opportunities where they just line the kicker up and he just got to kick it, make it, and with the offensive line in front of him, I'm talking to him like, bro, you sorry as hell, bro. Ain't no way you about to make this kick. And, either they made it or they missed it. If they missed, I was going crazy.
Right. Go give him some. Go give him some. So, listen, Hop is out now. New kicker now is Blewett. That's a name for a kicker, ain't it? Blewett.
Yeah.
Let's hope that he don't blow it, right? Let's hope that he don't blow it.
Well, I don't see what the point is. It's not like Hop was the reason why we losing games. Like, and he's a freaking middle of the pack kicker in a sense.
That's my thing.
He's played almost at a Pro Bowl level for most of his career. I think this year was probably the first time he's really struggled in a sense of struggling, but he's still decent. He's still a middle of the pack kicker. You don't just find kickers off the street, So and this guy who we brought in, I hope he does good, but they don't got no film on this guy. He don't got no stats.
Well, we might need you. We might need you at practice on tomorrow, sitting right there when he get wide left. What you gonna do? We need to know something.
I wish I could. With all these Corona protocols, they don't allow nobody to come around anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
If that was the case, I might be in the offices with a loudspeaker. Hey, why left? Why left?
They gonna know Swaggy in the building. Is that swag or God? Is that
Oh,
swag
right,
or God?
right.
Right. Okay, so listen. Here's my thing, right? I think the coaches started to lose a lot of confidence in Hop when you saw that they wouldn't go for that. What was it, 53-yarder? Kickers now. Look at right up the wall, Legatron with that NFL record, 60+ yard kick, man. So
Hey, there's not
a
a lot
couple
of
of
Justin
weeks.
Tucks walking around, bro.
No,
We
no,
can't compare anybody to Justin
no.
Tuck. He is in a league of his own.
Man, him and Seabass.
Right.
Oh, Sebastian Janikowski, for those that don't know, right?
Yep.
So, but 53-yarder now, that's nothing for these guys. So it sort of showed that Ron Rivera and the staff started to lose a little bit of confidence in him a couple of weeks ago. So we wish him the best. Hopefully he get picked up by somebody and can do his thing. But for right now, we're going with Blewett. All right, so we got you back in Washington now, right? We talking secondary camaraderie, linebackers, defense. I'm talking the whole thing right now. What's missing?
Veteran leadership. We got so many guys who are young, just trying to figure it out. You got Jackson over there, who's a vet. You got Fuller, who's a vet. You got Landon Collins, who's a vet. But at the end of the day, when the vets don't play well together, it's kind of hard to assert yourself as a leader or as a person to really speak about X's and O's when it just seems like the back end and it all works together, but for whatever reason, the defense isn't working. We're giving up wide open stuff in the back end, and we're not rushing the passer the way we were accustomed to seeing it last year, and it's just not really matching. And there's really not that guy who's playing great and is an older guy who can really set the tone for the team. Like when I played, we had D'Angelo Hall, we had London Fletcher.
I was about to ask you about London.
We had Barry Cofield, and London was like an extended coach, so it was just like you played well so that London didn't cuss you out. You know what I mean? It's like they look if Jonathan Allen or Payne or Chase gets out of their rush lane or is in the wrong gap on the run, there's no linebacker that's gonna be like, yo, what the hell are you doing? Like, yo, get this dude out the game. There's no guy to say that to Chase or any of them. So there's no worries about, hey, it's like if I mess up, I mess up, whatever. There's no one to check that. We had someone on every level to check what was going on, and at the time that they was able to check, they were still playing at a high level. We don't have that.
Chris, hold on. Oh, wait. So you telling me right now, if you blew something, London, get this dude off the field?
London didn't play, bro. He didn't play with that because I love playing with London because he was, again, an extended coach. Like, he would be out there, here come the power right, here come the stretch left, and every time he called it out, it happened. So playing with him was like, yo, I can't mess up because I don't want to disappoint Fletcher. So when I played nose tackle, my goal was to, even if I didn't get no tackles, my goal was to never let that center get up on Fletch. Fletch got to have a clean jersey by the end of the game. He's not going to get dirty because his offensive lineman on my behalf getting up to him. So I took pride in not making tackles, but just keeping that offensive lineman off of Fletcher. If I look back and Fletcher got 16 tackles for the game, I had a great game as a defensive lineman.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just that type of accountability that we had when I was there. Even though we weren't winning games per se, London was still playing great. Our defensive line was still playing okay. And if things were wrong, London could get things right. They don't have that guy to look back and say, it's instances where we played, and again, London's like a coach, so the coach may call a play in for a situation, and London like, nah, we're not doing that. This is the way about to go, boom. And we all make it work, and we all on the same page.
Oh, I know them days. I know them days. I know them days. But it takes for you to do your homework so that you can make the coach right the same way you said that you would make Ryan Kerrigan right. Do your thing.
Again, London was like a coach. When you got when I had to come in early for rehab, London had already had his lift in and was watching film by 7 in the morning, 6, 7 in the morning. He was already there. He already got his lift in before everybody got there. Now he's watching film before the coaches even get in sometimes. But do they have that type of guy right now? I don't know. I'm not around the building. I don't know what guys do and how they come and move. But I know from watching the film that there's still a lot of confusion, and there's no one to like huddle up the defense like, yo, get this shit right, or da-da-da-da. We don't have that. That's the part that we're missing.
Right.
All of our quote-unquote great players are young. They're still finding out how to become a professional. How do I, get here early, leave late? Like, what do I do? How do I be? London, he saw it all. He knew it, but by the time we had him, he had already been playing for probably 10 plus years.
Right.
So he had that knowledge. All these guys are in their first 4 years still learning how to become professionals.
So do you think that these guys learning how to be a professional is going to get Jack Del Rio fired?
I don't think that's the case either, because everything works with each other. Coaching helps the players, and the players just got to make plays. But the coaches have to put players in a position to be successful. And I just feel like with the personnel that we got, we're just so bland. There's no blitzing. There's nothing for the other offense to worry about except for blocking our front five, blocking our front four. We don't do any disguised blitzes, or we don't send our linebackers on a bunch of blitzes. They just know, hey, if we block these front four, chip on Chase or chip on Sweat, we'll be okay. But there's no, like, disguise, like it'd be 3rd and 8 and our freaking corners are 8 yards off the ball. It's like,
yes, that drives me crazy. That drives me crazy. Listen, I don't know how many Sundays I've sat in front of the TV and be like, the middle of the field's wide open, watch somebody come right into the middle of the field, boop, 3rd and 8, 10-yard gain. You're kidding me,
bro. It'd be second and 20, 2nd and 25, and next play they get freaking 28 yards. I'm like, what the hell are we doing?
So if you were playing right now, right, what would you say to this defensive team? What would you say? Give me what Chris Baker would say as the vet that brings it all together. What would Chris Baker say to this defensive team right now?
It's soul searching time. We got to get it right or get going. If we don't get this thing right, not only these coaches going to get fired, us as players are going to get fired too. So you either come to work and get your shit together, or get ready to get cut and get packed and get the packet. Because if we don't get this thing right, ain't none of us going to be here. So no matter what the coaches call, we just have, as players, have to make it work. It may not be the best call, but we as players make it work because we're playmakers. We got to make plays. We get paid to make plays, and now we got to go out here and perform each and every week. We can't have an off week right now. And it kind of brings me back to we was in the same situation RG3 rookie year. We had to win 7 or 8 straight games to get into the playoffs. And we had our defensive, we had Barry Cofield again. We had Stephen Bowen. We had London Fletcher. We had D Hall. And these guys made sure that everybody was on their shit every single week. And then it wasn't like our defense changed. We still had the same defensive coordinator. We still had the same defensive calls. But guess what? We made those calls work.
Right.
Even if it was a bad call, we made it work because we were always on the same. If the defensive call was bad, then we was all going to be bad together. If it was great, we all going to be great together. But we was together, and we just made it work. It was no special sauce, no special calls. We just made it work. So these guys just have to figure out whether it's a veteran meeting with Del Rio to say, hey, we better at doing this, and he could go implement that into the game plan. It's like, bro, can you send some more pressure? And maybe he'll start sending some more pressure. But if we just continue to sit back and just say, hey, we're going to depend on our front 4, front 5, they're going to gas us every week because our front 4 and front 5 are not getting there on an effective enough basis over and over and over to really challenge these quarterbacks to get rid of the ball fast. But if we start sending blitzes along with the front 4 and front 5 that we have, it'll be amazing. Like I would love to watch a Washington football game, and we send an all-out blitz like Baltimore does. Coach Wink in Baltimore just sends everybody and just prays for the best. But you know what? He'll send it, then he'll show it, and then back up. And then the one time they back up into the zone, that quarterback has got to get rid of the ball fast. He's thinking all the guys coming. That's when the interceptions and stuff are happening. Us, it's like, hey, we know Washington's going to play zone, and they're only going to rush 4 or 5. We just got to find the open spot.
That's
and then when Chase or Sweat runs behind us, we got to step up and make the throw. If you watch the New England game, Jameis would really just sit here, wait for Chase to pass him, and just step right where Chase was at, and
let it go.
A pass to the running back or whoever else was wide open down the field. It's simple.
We made Jameson
on the same page. We just got to make it work.
We made Jameson look amazing, and I was totally disgusted with that whole situation. So
who you telling, bro? Last time Jameis came there, we had the big "you like that" game.
Yes,
we crushed Tampa. I had a game-winning fumble recovery at the end. You like that?
Hey, Swag, man, I appreciate you doing this. I took up enough of your night, man. You don't understand how much I appreciate this, man. I catch you again on the Team 980. Where could everybody catch you at, man? What are you doing?
You can catch me on my Instagram, at BigBake92. And my Twitter, I think it's at CBakerRedskin or something like that.
Swaggy.
Is it Swaggy?
CBake Swaggy. Yeah,
CBaker Swaggy on Twitter. I'll be around. I'll be in Washington this weekend. I'm gonna do what is it? It's a watch party or something.
Yep, a watch party.
Yeah, so I'll be in town for that, and I think it's Howard Homecoming this weekend too. So trying to
get it. All right, man. Hey, if y'all enjoyed this content, don't forget to like that or hit that like button, smash on that joint. You know how we do. I get in, I get out. I call it an OG classic. I'll catch y'all on Saturday with all my NFL picks.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me.